makes the Virtue Spire the best loader
What
in
makes the
paintball?
Virtue Spire the best loader in paintball?
Россия – это страна с очень сложными погодными условиями.
Not only is the Spire small and lighter than leading competitors,
The Spire is designed to take the toughest abuse that paintball puts out and keep feeding no matter how bad your paint or weather gets.
With a true 200 round capacity, it holds more paint as well.
Not only is it easier to take apart, but more importantly, it's easier to put back together.
find out more at virtuespire.com.
Game of the day, we're about to watch Excessive, and they're going to take on Texas Storm here in the Challengers Division. I'm Manny Marshall alongside Tom Martinez and Steve Rabikoff. And man, we got a great weekend, and this is the introduction to Champs and the Challengers Division, so every single game is important, and we're going to find out who will be moving up from the Challengers Division to the Champions Division, and which two teams will be bumping down. And we're here at the Paintball Park in Maryland, and Texas Storm on the red, in the red, on the left-hand portion of your screen. And they had a pretty decent breakout, but they lost their player on the snake side of the field.
As Thomas Taylor comes from the center of the field up and across, he dives into the snake 2 and gets shot, loses his loader on the way. Ben Boy moves into snake 2 behind him though. And Excessive, yeah, just down one body right now, but in good field position on the snake side. They got the Dorito side corner and the Dorito side tower. Ben Boy also gets shot in the face, and he's gonna come walking off the field right now. So Excessive down 2 bodies. They still have Jaime Lopez in snake 1.
And Jaime Lopez has been playing really good for Excessive in practice, and they need him to play well because Thomas Taylor he'll play the one on the snake side of the field, but they've kind of moved him back to that 2 spot because they just feel that they need somebody who's healthy and be able to run every single point up there. But Thomas will still jump in there. I saw him in practice yesterday diving in there, so he looks still looking pretty good.
Yeah, Thomas is a guy that it's kind of hard to pump the brakes on him sometimes. All he really knows is to keep going forward. So, but Jaime Lopez, a good player for Excessive, just needs to get up there, get in the front, and get involved. Ben Boy, the other player they brought to come in and be the one on the snake side, very, very fast player, but needs to get some production out of him if Excessive is going to be successful in this event.
Yeah, Excessive right now with Riley Sullivan over there. Look at this, though. They do not have much penetration. They have Riley Sullivan, who's in Dorito 1. He's the top portion of your screen on the D side. And then you got Jaime Lopez right there. He's in Snake 1. So, Excessive, only 3 players, but they're only looking at 3 players.
Yeah, Sean Saucedo and Clint Johnson both got shot out for Texas Storm. So 3-on-3 game right now as Texas Storm has a body in Dorito 2, the Dorito Tower, and the Temple in the middle of the field.
And there Riley Sullivan makes his move to the 40-yard line. Dorito bypasses Dorito 2, just gets right up in there, immediately tries to get a shot cross field. So 3 players for Texas Storm, Derek Knight, Cody Tolliver, and Mark Johnson are left alive for Storm. Not in the best field position, though, kind of stuck in that center of the field, and that is not what you want to see. But it's going to be up to Jaime Lopez. Jaime Lopez is really going to need, he's got the ball right now. Looks like he might be doing some surgery, though.
Yeah, Jaime Lopez's gun has been down pretty much since the start of this game. It looks like he finally got it back up as he reaches for a pod to start loading again. There he is on your screen right there. You got Derek Knight and Rich Telford both matched up in those tall towers on the Dorito side as Riley Sullivan is in the 40 Dorito now and is trying to go to work on Derek Knight.
Yeah.
Playing the inside.
Well, I mean, it's essentially 2 players left alive if Lopez can't get his gun up. So, Lopez right now, Lopez, who still has got his head up, needs to keep talking and try to participate here in this point, and hopefully he can get something coming out of that gun there and really help out Rich Telford and Riley Sullivan.
Yeah, Lopez is at least drawing the gun of, I think that's Cody Tolliver in the Temple in the middle of the field. Lopez hasn't really even looked at him. Is still doing work on his gun right there, but, drawing all the attention of the gun on the snake side. If Cody Tolliver wisened up a little bit, he might try and make a move across over here, draw Riley Sullivan's gun, but Riley Sullivan loses a gun battle and gets shot in the face, and he's going to walk off the field, leaving just Rich Telford on the Dorito side.
And that is some terrible death for Riley Sullivan. That was his problem at the first event, too, was just he get in great spots, but then lose a gun battle out of there. And now it's just Rich Telford pretty much left alive. Lopez is still alive, but he hasn't shot a paintball in the past 2 minutes.
No, not at all. Rich Telford, very good in these situations.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you know, Rich he's not a guy you want to try to push aggressive into because he's a great gunfighter. I mean, that's Rich's stock and trade, is shooting people off the break and winning gunfights.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been training hardcore every single weekend gunfighting for about, God, I want to say 15 years now. So, you know, he's very, very seasoned in this situation. They play a lot of these points, too.
And Cody Tolliver finally gets out of that center temple, makes his way back across into the tall tower on the snake side and on into snake 1. And he's going to make his way up the field, see if he can get a better angle on Rich Telford.
Yeah, so, you know, Rich also can't tell from this angle how much pain he has on his back. Right now you're looking at Texas Storm, and that's number 8 for this Cody Tolliver, who's now made his move into the snake. Now he's going to go to snake 2, not feeling any pressure right now with that death of Riley Sullivan. And Texas Storm able to spread the field now. Good field position for them. Let's see if they can take advantage of this. Jaime Lopez is now taking his loader off and is just, he's got to be careful. He can't leave that loader behind, though, because if he leaves that loader behind, he will be pulled out. And now Rich Telford ends up getting taken out, and Excessive forced to concede the point. So it looked like Excessive was in the driver's seat as they had much better field position over Texas Storm, but Texas Storm able to get that kill on Riley Sullivan, and then spread the field out, and then finally get that kill on Rich Telford. So, you know, Jaime Lopez shaking his head right now in frustration as Sacramento XSV is going to go down 1 to Texas Storm in that long point. 14:51 on the clock, and we're going to be right back.
Did you hear that? Hear what? Tanks? 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 Tanks! Tanks! Yeah, tanks. Night, night. Tanks? Tanks. 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 Weasel 3!
And we are back here, 2013 Mid-Atlantic Open, and we are in the pits right now with Texas Storm, brand new team to the Challengers Division, moving up from D1. And Texas Storm, such a storied franchise in paintball. They were pro long ago, and you know, Ryan Gray's fought long and hard with his boys, and you know, they've got a deep roster. They had a lot of guys cycle in and out of that program throughout the years, and here they are in the professional division again. So congratulations on them to actually making it to this level. Let's see what they can do here in the Challengers Division. And looks like they get a penalty right at the start of this point. So 2 bodies are going to come off immediately for Texas Storm, but they did go with an aggressive game plan all the way up to the center. And they are starting to chop bodies up on that Dorito side off Excessive.
Yeah, Derek Knight got shot going out to that Dorito side temple, gets a penalty pulled, and he's going to have to go to that box. You know, when you get that penalty, you need to run to that box and get in there right away. Derek Knight walking off the field, wasted about 10 seconds making his way over to the box over there, but Excessive with the early advantage right now. But they also lost 2 bodies. Oh, and they lose another body.
Yeah, but Texas Storm loses a body as well, so only 2 bodies left alive for Texas Storm, but they do have Derek Knight in the box, and he will be able to come out of there in just about 30 seconds. So let's see what they can do here, if they can hold off Excessive. But Excessive, they only have Ben Bowie and Junior Brown left on the field for them, and Junior Brown catches one in his bunker, and then Excessive is smartly going to blow that horn and try to save Bowie, but he ends up getting run down anyway in a major penalty. Yeah, you know, I was going to say, I mean, that's a close one, but
Yeah.
I mean, he heard the horn and took 3 steps and then put it on Ben. So
not only did he put it on him, he was shot him, was past him, was back to him, still shooting him.
yeah.
You know, that's an easy call
Yeah,
right there for the
yeah,
refs.
you're right. That's a pretty easy call. Well, it's, hey, welcome to the PSP Pro Division for Texas Storm there, and as they quickly realize that, you know, hey, you know, this isn't Bloody Knuckles practice paintball where you can just bonus ball the hell out of people for fun, you know, unfortunately for Texas Storm. But, you know, they've been a rough and tumble bunch over the years, so maybe they're just trying to throw a little intimidation towards Excessive, and Excessive can also play that game too. So I'll tell you what, when Rich Telford watching that probably is And he's probably going to tell his boys, you know, we always used to have a rule on the Ironman when I played with him, and excessive was 10-1, you know? So be like, who is that? Oh, okay. All right, yeah, let's remember you forever.
Yeah, Derek Williams now going to have a target on his back, and he's also going to be serving a major penalty. 2 minutes, 16 seconds still left on the minor. I guess that first minor was for having 6 guys on the field. New to the Challengers Division, Texas Storm tried to get away with having 6 bodies on the field.
But wait, last time I checked in D1, you also can't play with 6 there either.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, let's check out them on the breakout.
Do they have 6 players?
We got
2.
3 going to the left and 3 going to the right. That is not legal. So you are going to get a minor penalty as the ref runs in, pulls Derek out. Derek's like, what? Where? Who? Why?
Yeah. So a couple mental mistakes here from Texas Storm early on, and which is, if I was Ryan Gray, the coach and owner of Texas Storm, that would be a big frustration to me, because other than that, they're playing well. And, you know, Excessive, no slouches, very successful team over the years, and they have a lot of talent and veterans on that squad. So let's see here on the break, as looks like Excessive loses Jesse Lappet up the center. So 4 bodies left alive for Excessive, and just 3 for Texas Storm, as 2 guys are in the box, both Derek Williams and Derek Knight.
Yeah, and quickly into Snake 2, Jaime Lopez with a gun that works, now working across the field. Just 3 bodies on the field for Texas Storm as they get their 4th one out, but he gets shot. But still going to have 1 in the box. Derek Knight comes walking off the field right now.
But Todd, I'm telling you, it just keeps seeing guys die out of their spots for Excessive. You know, you had Junior Brown get shot out of his bunker that last point. Jaime Lopez just caught one now. Riley Sullivan had a bad death out of his bunker in a clutch situation. You know, that's the type of stuff that kept Excessive from winning games in the first event. So they've really got to work on that. You know, Excessive has been a really solid gunfighting team over the years. So if I was Rich Telford, I'd be really frustrated if I were to go back and watch this game and see that time and time again.
Yeah, and Aaron Tholey makes the bump into the 40 Dorito. He's going to look across the field. As Excessive, they got Johnny Greer down here, number 2 in the 50 Dorito on the Snake side. Number 17, Clinton Johnson for Texas Storm, backs up out of the Snake 1 and goes back to the Temple behind it. So now he is going to try and get a better angle on the Excessive players coming up middle of the field as Rich Telford makes the bump. Rich Telford coming through the middle of the field, blocking off that tower.
And then Rich launches, and nice job by Rich Telford. Perfect, created himself an opportunity right there by putting in the Snake player, and then went quickly through that lane.
Yeah, just turned on the boosters right there real
Rich
quick.
Telford looking fast, taking out Bluey. So, and that is going to do it. So on the strength of Rich Telford's move up the center, nicely timed, well, nicely executed. And Johnny Greer is going to hang that flag. So Excessive, their leader, stepping up there, Rich Telford. And we are going to have ourselves a 1-point match here, as Derek Williams looks like he is going to be out of that box too. So see if that hang's going to be clean. And we're going to find out when we get back from this break. We're back in the Excessive pits. The score's 2-1. Excessive is down 1 against Texas Storm. 11 minutes and 49 seconds remain here in this match. Long points so far. And we've seen some mental mistakes from Texas Storm as they got 2 unnecessary penalties. One for having 6 bodies on the field to start the point, and then the next one for an overshooting penalty at a point they'd won. So, you know, Texas Storm's really going to have to tighten it up here.
Yeah, Texas Storm, Derek Williams. I think he might still start in that box for another couple seconds. As we take a look, they're throwing the time back up on the board. But Texas Storm still with that 1-point lead. 11:50 left to go. And I think we might get a timeout on the field right now. But yeah, we got a referee timeout. The clock has stopped. The referee's going to sort something out real quick. I think they're going to try and make sure that the time is right on the penalty that still remains for Texas Storm, because all the time came off the clock on the penalties. So they're going to go back and take a look at it real quick and see how much time is actually left on it. So referee, quick timeout, 8 seconds before the start of this point. And you know, Excessive, you know, Maddie, like you were saying, you know, this is what Excessive did. They looked good last event, but they'd look good, get to spots, and then they'd get shot out of their bunkers. You know, in this game right now, they're really just losing a lot of bodies early. You know, Excessive is a good team when they can get to their spots alive and grind some points out, but, you know, it's really tough to play on your heels right now and against a young, hungry Texas Storm.
Absolutely.
You know,
so
for the teams that have been in the Champions Division, I think the biggest challenge is going to be facing these teams that are coming up from D1 that are really hungry and want to take it to them.
Well, it looks like they got it sorted out, so there's going to be 2 players in the box, Sean Salcedo and Derek Williams for Texas Storm. So on a major power play is Excessive, but they lose Thomas Taylor off the break, so Texas Storm at least gets one of those bodies back, and it's now 4-on-3. And they're Riley Sullivan in real good field position for Excessive. Right now, you're looking at Texas Storm on your screen, stuck in those back bunkers because they only have 3 players left alive. And so let's see, Excessive can, you know, when you get a 5-on-3 power play, you really want to try to run the score up, but Excessive throwing bodies away as Ben Bowie gets to the 50-yard line and gets scalped. So he's going to come off early. So it's just Jaime Lopez over here on the Snake side. He's all the way in Snake 2. You know what I don't like to see from Jaime Lopez? Well, he is looking. But Jaime Lopez's body language, well, he's the only guy over here. But you know what? You know when guys get locked in their spots and they're not looking for that next move. They're just like, okay, I'm doing my job. I got into Snake 1, just shoot cross field.
Absolutely.
You know, instead of trying to look for and create opportunities for yourself. See, now he's a little bit more up. So look at his body language now. Okay, now you can see he's looking for that move.
Oh, as Sean Salcedo comes out of the box, tries to make a move to the Snake side and gets torched.
So doing a little bit of damage control, but Rich Telford also coming off early. So the early death plague has hit Excessive. Yeah. And with 10 minutes and 25 seconds, there's still a ton of time left in this game. And Excessive is still in good field position with Jaime Lopez now moving into the second notch of the Snake. Playing a little bit off that bunker here. Now he does have to be careful because he is, there's only 2 players left alive for Excessive.
Yeah, they got Riley Sullivan over there in the 40 Dorito. He's looking on the inside. Jaime Lopez is now backed all the way up in between Snake 1 and Snake 2. He's looking for shots. But Texas Storm now coming out of the Dorito 1, looking to get up into Dorito 2 and make a move on Riley Sullivan.
Yeah, Riley Sullivan's about to get pinched out here.
Oh, and Jaime Lopez gets a shot in on number 14 from Texas Storm, Derek Williams.
And that's going to keep that. I was going to say, here he's going to. Oh, and Riley Sullivan switches his gun around, so it looks like Mark Johnson's still alive. No referee trying to run him down, and chaos ensues as number 17, Clint Johnson, makes a big move for Texas Storm, and he comes off as well. But it looks like there's going to be 1 player left alive, so Excessive will concede that point. That was a pretty crazy point there.
Yeah, Texas Storm finally put it together, but good job by Texas Storm of grinding that point down and keeping their bodies, or getting their bodies out of the box on that one.
Yeah, how frustrated is it if you're Excessive right now? Is it this? It started
5-on-3.
Yeah, so you know, it's okay. So they start there. They start 5-on-3, right? So they start 5-on-3, and anytime you start a point 5-on-3, you're like, oh, this is gonna be great. We're gonna win a quick one here, tie it up. They lose Thomas Taylor off the break. Ben Bowie gets all the way up to the 50-yard line. He gets shot on the top of his head. You know, a very frustrating situation. And then not only do they not win the point, but they end up, you know, and Texas Storm able to ground down that penalty. So frustrating turn of events.
Did you see Thomas wasn't even ready when the clock started? He was looking to see where the guys were breaking out, and then the clock went off, and the ref's like, you got to go. He wasn't even ready.
Unfortunate turn of events here for Excessive, and we're going to see if they can turn it up here. Fight their way out of the Challengers division. Not looking good right now. We'll be right back.
ANSgear.com has the world's largest inventory of paintball equipment, including guns, masks, loaders, paintballs, tanks, and clothing. With free shipping on all orders over $100. Shop now at ansgear.com.
Thomas Taylor getting his boys up here in the excessive pits. About to start this next point in 17 seconds. 9 minutes and 23 seconds on the clock. And like we were just talking about, man, excessive, they've got to dig deep right here. They're getting shot out of their bunkers.
Playing sloppy.
Yeah, just a little bit. I mean, it's, you know, it's not complete disaster. And it is a close game here, and there's still time for them to come back. But, you know, if every single point you're losing somebody out of their spot for no reason, you know, you can't win tournaments that way.
No, and Texas Storm tries to come up the middle and across into Snake 2 right away. Makes it in there alive. That's Aaron White, number 44. He's going to look across the field. You know, when you make a big risky move like that, you know, you always got to hope to get something out of it. Has no shots across the field, but takes up that valuable real estate right away, Texas Storm.
Moving up that middle of the field, and Excessive lost a player as that was going down as well, so they're down 1 right now.
Oh, maybe he did get the corner guy. So 2 bodies, yeah, 2 bodies walking off. Jesse Benoit and Johnny Greer.
You just look how they're walking off, Matt. Their swagger's not there, man. There's 9 minutes left. There's plenty of time for these guys to come back.
Absolutely, and it's the first game of the tournament. So regardless, even if they got blown out here, you still need to maintain that edge that you need here in the tournament. There's 3 games left after this. Now they're starting to chew. Texas Storm up a little bit as number 3, Mark Johnson, gets blown apart trying to get past the 50-yard line.
Yeah, ran right into Aaron Tholey's gun. Junior Brown able to get out of that back center. He's in the temple in the middle of the field. And here comes White into the 50 Dorito on the snake side. White just a wrap away from seeing Junior Brown's full back exposed to him. But Aaron Tholey picks him up, and he's putting pressure across the field on White and that Dorito.
Man, he's got big harness packs ready to get hit right there.
Yeah,
and White just completely missing Junior Brown's pack. Can't get a shot in on him.
Yeah, and allows Junior to tuck in a little bit. So now here comes a full court press from Texas Storm. Guys in the center up towards the 50-yard line as well, trying to wrap here and get a shot.
Yeah, Aaron Tholey doing all he can to battle out of that Dorito as Junior Brown finally takes one, and he walks off the field, and Excessive gonna blow the horn again.
And they go to that dreaded 3-point spread. The stats on team coming back from 3 points down is rough. It's in the 90 percentile of the team with 3 points wins those games. So, you know, Excessive not looking good here in their first match in the Challengers Division against Texas Storm, who is not looking bad. They've made some mistakes, but they're still winning this game. And we're gonna be right back here, 7 minutes and 30 seconds on the clock. Beautiful morning here in Chesapeake City, Maryland. I'm Matty Marshall alongside Todd Martinez and Steve Rabikoff. And man, we got a great day of paintball in the Champions Division coming up after the conclusion of this Challengers match between Excessive and Texas Storm. First champion game up is going to be Edmonton Impact taking on Chattanooga CEP. And we're going to find out what Chattanooga CEP is made of, as they were able to maintain their champions position by playing pretty good at their first event in Dallas.
Yeah, but they're going to be taking on an Edmonton Impact team who has been playing really, really well since the start of the season. As, Rich Telford looked like he caught a bounce in his arm going out to the Dorito side. Riley Sullivan gets shot, and Rich Telford,
They're just down 2 over there quick. It's just not looking good for them right now here.
Yeah, but you see how Rich Telford walks off the field, like, angry? You know, not dejected, not disappointed, angry. Like, give me more paint, I'm going back out there. I want to see that out of everyone on that team when they get shot.
Yeah, Junior Brown walks off, so does Jaime Lopez. And Jesse Lapid gets shot right as the buzzer blows. So, man, those buzzers are buzzing over there on the Sacramento XSV side right now as they go down 5-1 to Texas Storm. And, man, Texas Storm just owning this game right now.
You know what's scary, too, for XSV is that if Texas Storm didn't get that ridiculous overshooting penalty earlier on that was unnecessary. And also, you know, they've got some penalties. They made a couple mistakes themselves, started with 6 guys. If they didn't make those mistakes, this could be even more of a blowout than what we're looking right now. And the frustrating thing for XSV, you know, XSV, they didn't come into the PSP this year thinking, okay, well, you know, we're going to be sucking it up in the Challengers Division, getting beat by Texas Storm. They came in like, no, we're going to stomp people out in the Champions Division
and now they're
because
here.
they're used to having success. But the issue is that they're not getting production out of their ones. You know, we're not seeing Riley Sullivan get up there too much, but also I don't want to put too much pressure on Riley Sullivan. I mean, at least he's getting some penetration. They're having way too many guys die out of spots. Now they're starting to get blown off the break too. It's not looking for them. They got to turn around. They do have 3 more games left, so still a lot of tournament left for them.
The way they're walking out there just doesn't look good right now. It looks like they don't even want to be out there right now.
Yeah. So, well, we'll see. So, all right, score 5-1. We're gonna be right back after this.
What makes the Virtue Spire the best loader in paintball?
What makes the Virtue Spire the best loader in paintball?
Россия – это страна с очень сложными погодными условиями.
Not only is the Spire small and lighter than leading competitors,
The Spire is designed to take the toughest abuse the paintball puts out and keep feeding no matter how bad your paint or weather gets.
With a true 200 round capacity, it holds more paint as well.
Not only is it easier to take apart, but more importantly, it's easier to put back together.
find out more at virtuespire.com.
Did you hear that? Hear what? Tanks? 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 Tanks! Tanks! Oh yeah, tanks! Night night! Tanks! 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 Weasel 3!
So Texas Storm looking like they most likely are going to be, well, there's 7 minutes left, but they're down, XSV's down 4, and you know, Texas Storm looking really good to win this first matchup here of their tournament.
And the way this field lays out, when you get up with points like this, you can now wait for them to come and just chop them up now. So now they're in the driver's seat here, Texas Storm. And I think as the day goes on, I think in the Champions Division, you're going to see, from what I'm hearing from practices, the games have been going a little bit slower and a little bit longer. And we'll see that, I think, as the day goes on.
Yeah, I mean, it is an aggressive field layout, but you can play any field pretty, if you want to get 5 guys alive and cross it up. And then Texas Storm here with a big breakout all the way to Snake 2 off the break. They do lose a body, and it looks like XSV loses Thomas Taylor off the break as well. So,
yeah, Thomas Taylor just having a rough go this event, or this game so far. Not able to get much production out of him because he hasn't been able to get out to his spot. Jaime Lopez is able to get in there alive, but man, just no productivity out of him either. As you have number 44, Aaron White, all the way up into Snake 2 right away, and he's got some help behind him.
Well, and you know, Todd, that's the big problem, is that we talk about this all the time. You need the one, set the tempo. if you're not getting production out of your front guys, if you got them stuck in their first spots, shooting cross field, not looking for moves, or getting shot out of their spots, or getting shot for break, you're going to have a rough day. I mean, you can only ask so much of your 2s and your 3s, your mid players and your back players.
Yeah, well, you know, we see a lot of guys shooting across the field over here. You know, we talk about playing aggressively. You know, you want to engage the guys who are in front of you. You know, there aren't a whole lot of good shots across the field on this layout. You know, like you get into a spot, you maybe have 1 or 2 shots when you get in and start looking across the field. If you can engage the guys in front of you and get them to gun battle you,
maybe pick one of them off, then you can start making things happen here. So, and this game's playing out just like it with the 5-1 lead. And they know Excessive's got to come, so Excessive better start making some things happen here.
Yeah, Excessive. I mean, they have 5 minutes and 30 seconds left. They're down 4 points, and sitting in their bunkers trying to work across the field isn't going to do it for them. Jaime Lopez trying to push up into that bunker, and now backing up, trying to shoot the Dorito 1. I mean, Texas Storm right now, they don't have to go anywhere, like you said, Rab. You know, they got number 11, Bewley, in the snake side corner, just watching over 44, White, you know, as
you
Texas
say that,
Storm finally loses a body out of, that's number 33 walking off the field over there for Texas Storm out of Dorito 1. Jaime Lopez again, using entire snake 2. Back and forth. Rich Telford is backed way up off the Dorito side tower. Here comes Lopez into the 50 Dorito, but he is going to get ran down by White.
That's man, you're that close. Do your job, snake player. Get him out of there.
Yeah, nicely done. So now Junior Brown, last player in the snake, and now he's going to make his move into snake 1 and look cross field. Riley Sullivan in good field position again over there in 40-yard line, Dorito, on the opposite side of the field from Junior Brown right here.
Yeah, let's see if Riley Sullivan can get some kills. Excessive, you know, another minute and a half ticks off the clock.
And there's one as you say that.
Texas Storm gets closer, yeah. Riley Sullivan does get a shot in on Bewley.
And now here comes Rich Telford. And Rich Telford, how is Rich the only guy running people down on Excessive?
I mean,
like,
that's
how
kind
is that
of the way it
like you
was
said,
Dallas
he's
too, though.
angry.
Yeah,
No, yeah,
it's
it's
the
like
way
he
it
doesn't
was
like
in
what's
Dallas.
happening.
Well, not only being the fastest guy on the team, he's probably the smartest guy on the team, but you just see the way he closes out games. As soon as he sees the opportunities, he finds the seams through the middle of the field, uses the big bunkers downfield to block them out, and he makes his attack right down straight into the head of Derek Knight. And Derek Knight tries to come around, and Rich Telford gets 3 balls on his loader before Derek Knight can even get out.
Yeah, so nice job, Rich Telford stepping up, the leader of that squad, and he really needs some help from his supporting cast. You know, Rich Telford, I'd go in the pits and be like, I am 6'2" and 220 pounds. How are you midgets? I'm the only guy running down the field and shooting people. Come on. Anyway, so you know, Excessive, they need to dig deep here, man. You know, they're not getting production out of the ones, and it's going to be a long weekend for them if Rich Telford's the only one running down the field and bunkering people. Anyway, we're going to be right back here with the conclusion of this matchup. See you in a second. So here's where it ggets interesting. With 3 minutes and 39 seconds to go here, down 3, Excessive is forced to push aggressive. There's no other choice. They have to try to win this game. So you're going to see a fast squad out there and a lot of aggression. Ride or die. It's ride or die time for Excessive.
Oh man, and Texas Storm doubles up the back center cake on the break and gets 2 bodies for Excessive. and then attacks the center of the field.
So good tactical decision to know that Excessive has to push aggressive, and to do that risky double up the center move, because it's not like there's a big bunker back there to hide. There's not a big back center. And it's still able to pay off, and they now have the one-body advantage. They did lose Jeffrey Malam as he came off early. So Aaron Tholey, Johnny Greer, and Ben Bowie still left alive for Excessive to try to put a point on the board here and bring it to within 2.
And Ben Bowie able to pick up Texas Storm player running down to go bunker out. His Dorito player protects his life right there, shoots Derek Williams. But
you don't really need to do that on Storm.
No, I think that was Aaron Tholey actually that was able to get that shot in on him. And now Aaron Tholey's pushing down the Dorito side. He gets himself another kill. That's a 3-pack for Aaron Tholey. Looks like he might get 4. Wow, Aaron Tholey just had himself a 4-pack over here. And really, let's see, and a nice job by Ben Bowie to finish it off. So,
yeah, Ben Bowie gonna need to run that flag in, checking himself a little bit. Might have got a bounce, but he is gonna run the flag in. So with just over 2 minutes left to go, Sacramento Excessive trying to make a push, score 2 quick points, and now it is a 5-3 ball game on the back of Aaron Tholey.
yeah, Aaron Tholey. I mean, talking about, you know, we say it all the time, man. Big players need to have big games if you want your team to win. And Aaron Tholey getting himself 4 kills, and the last one goes to Ben Bowie. But, man, the Excessive, they now have a chance with 2 minutes and 14 seconds left, but it's going to be crazy bloodbath points. And we're going to be right back after this. All right, so looking at Ryan Gray there on your screen. And, or is that somebody wearing Ryan's jersey? Yeah, someone's wearing Ryan's jersey. I was going to say, Ryan's coming out for a point? Wow, all right.
Figured, hey, I'm up 5-3 with 274,
214 left, yeah. So it's going to be tough. It's not going to be easy for Excessive to try to put 2 points on the board, 2 minutes and 14 seconds. It's definitely possible, but they're going to have to push incredibly aggressive. And here comes that push as Thomas Taylor able to get in alive, and then Riley Sullivan off the stunt all the way to 40-yard line Dorito, but he gets shot. And Thomas is going to try to wrap around and get a shot on that center A, who's just destroying Excessive.
And he takes Thomas.
That's it. That is going to do it. That's the final note for Excessive right there.
Yeah, Junior Brown got a minor trying to stand in the open and shoot on the break and then bump into that temple. Got caught, cost his team, and now Johnson's here in the 50 Dorito on the snake side. I think he's looking at only Riley Sullivan, or no, Rich Telford. Just Rich Telford left for Excessive. Junior Brown in the box. He can come out, in about 30 seconds, but just too many bodies left alive right there. As you see Clint Johnson coming down, crosses onto the Excessive side of the field in the snake and shoots Rich Telford. He is gonna grab the flag. Nope, that's the yellow flag that Junior Brown got. That's the flag you're looking for.
You know,
be careful. 12 seconds on the minor.
And when you talk, let's look at this kill count real quick. Junior Brown, no kills. Jaime Lopez 8, Rich Telford 4. And we didn't see Aaron Tholey out there. I know he had a 4-pack in that last one, but Thomas Taylor 1 kill. Riley Sullivan 1 kill. There's your problem.
That's a major
That's the problem right there. You're talking about the issue with Excessive in this game. You cannot expect to win games if Thomas Taylor and Riley Sullivan get 1 kill each.
And look at Storm. Everyone has a mix.
Yeah. Good point, Rab. You know, Derek Williams 4, Clint Johnson 5, Mark Johnson 5, Dylan Bluey 7, Derek Knight, 4. That's what a winning team's kill count looks like. Everyone's contributing. Everyone's doing their job. Everyone's got some kills up on the board. But, you know, Excessive just really struggling here in their first challenger matchup. And you can see there Thomas, you know, having some words there in the pit with Rich. Yeah, so they're going to have to figure it out. They got 3 more games coming up. They're going to lose this one. Score 6-3, minute and 2 left. We'll be right back.
ANSgear.com has the world's largest inventory of paintball equipment, including guns, masks, loaders, paintballs, tanks, and clothing. With free shipping on all orders over $100. Shop now at ANSgear.com.
And we're back here, 2013 Mid-Atlantic Open here at in Chesapeake City at OXCC Paintball Park. Matty Marshall with Todd Martinez and Steve Rabikoff. And it's looking like Texas Storm is going to take this victory here, their first game in the Challengers Division. So Excessive going to have to go back to the drawing board. They need more production out of Riley Sullivan. They need more production out of Thomas Taylor.
Excessive trying to go Snake 2 on the break, 50 Snake, and gets taken out. They should have tried that a little bit earlier, but hey.
Yeah, well, they tried it in the very beginning and unsuccessfully, and then Thomas Taylor got in there last point, but then Junior Brown got a minor, so that kind of nullified that one. But, I mean, Texas Storm just doing a really good job right now of shooting bodies on the break and then making their moves. You know, they're putting Excessive at a disadvantage right away, and then they're making clean, crisp, sharp moves, getting into spots and getting kills.
And that's winning the day for them. So, you know, Texas Storm also with 3 more games here on the Challengers field. That's alongside the Champions field, which is where we're watching the action take place. So we're going to have 2 Challengers games a day here on this field, and you're watching the second one, as the first one was won by Trenton Top Gun Union. You know what's interesting is that both, you know, as we watch the final score, going to be 6-3. But boys, think about this. Top Gun Union, they won the first one, and now Texas Storm, they win their first one, and they're taking the teams down that just came down from the Champions Division, which kind of speaks to the strength of these new Challengers teams. These guys coming up from Division 1 and defeating some legendary franchises. You know, if we were going to sit there and on paper and just look at the names alone, Chicago Aftershock or Excessive, you would think like, yeah, they should come and stomp Top Gun Union or Texas Storm, but that's not the case anymore. You know, I mean, with there's been a lot of progression for these teams coming up, and a lot of changes in and out of different players over the years for both Aftershock and Excessive. But but the big problem for Excessive is just, you know, a couple of their superstars not producing.
Yeah, I mean, Excessive just kept losing bodies on the break, and then even when they were in spots, they were losing gun battles. You know, the same thing that we kind of saw of them from Dallas. We were really hoping that they'd get it together and come back and have a good, solid tournament over here, but it's the first game.
Yeah,
you know,
a lot of tournament left for them. Still have 3 games left to play. So we're going to be right back here with our first Champions matchup, which is going to be Edmonton Impact taking on Chattanooga CEP. Let's see if Chattanooga CEP can continue the good play that they have had from the first event in Dallas, where they were able to stay in the Champions Division. And Impact, they're one of the teams favored to win this event. We're going to be right back.
Ever wonder how your order gets from ANSgear.com to you? Using our fast and efficient processing method, your purchase is pulled, verified, and shipped to your door quickly and accurately. Every order is checked for accuracy 3 times before it leaves the warehouse. With your choice of free shipping on orders over $100 to next day, Saturday, or international shipping options, you get the products you need sooner and at an affordable price to get you back in the game. Shop now at ANSgear.com.
Back back. We are coming at you from Maryland. I am here with Ace from Texas Storm. Congratulations, you guys just won your first pro event. How are you feeling?
Feeling very, very, very good.
Obviously, coming into the pros, you have to step up your game. What was your strategy coming in here?
Everybody had their own job. Everybody's supposed to stay on their job. You know, Ryan Gray's very strict about that, so we do what we need to do, and either we do it or we don't, and then we get off the field. You know, we don't play if we don't do our job, so if you want to play, you better do your job.
Early on in the match, you guys got a lot of penalties. What was happening there?
It was one of our new guys. He ran kind of far, didn't know he had a hit, and went off shooting, and that got us our penalty, but we bounced back like we can, you know, like we do, so.
All right, well, congratulations. Coming up is CEP versus Impact. We'll see how that game goes.
Did you hear that? Hear what? Tanks? 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 Tanks! Tanks! Oh yeah, tanks! Night, night! Tanks! 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 Weasel 3!
What makes the Virtue Spire the best loader
What
in
makes the
paintball?
Virtue Spire the best loader in paintball?
Россия — это страна с очень сложными погодными условиями.
Not only is the Spire small and lighter than leading competitors,
The Spire is designed to take the toughest abuse the paintball puts out and keep feeding no matter how bad your paint or weather gets.
With a true 200 round capacity, it holds more paint as well.
Not only is it easier to take apart, but more importantly, it's easier to put back together.
find out more at virtuespire.com.
Edmonton Impact has added a ton of firepower to an